Good morning, POWIIS. Good morning. Thank you. Okay, casting my mind back to December last year, I received a very long email from Mr. Roberts, which I never had time to read. I just skimmed through it, and I saw that it asked for a member of the Language and Culture faculty to write a poem. And I thought, I like writing poems, so I put my hand up for that one. But I didn't really read what the task was. And then I was on duty a couple of weeks ago in the foyer, and Wei Yuan came up to me, a guy that I've never met before. And he said, "Sir, you owe me a poem." And he had a certificate to prove it. So I never knew this young man, so I wrote to all of his teachers and said, "Can you help me out here? I need to write a poem for this young man. And can you send me some information about him?" And every one of the teachers replied instantly with some really good points. So obviously you're well liked amongst your teachers. So here is the poem, an ode to Wei Yuan Wong. In the heart of the classroom, where ideas are born, sits Wei Yuan Wong from Malaysia, not forlorn, with a cheeky smile and a spark in his eye. He tackles each task with a confident sigh. An independent worker, quiet yet bold. His science projects are a sight to behold. Designing a station with fuels that renew. A visionary mind with solutions that grew. Though sometimes as noisy as the boys all around, when the teacher speaks, his focus is found. Active in thought, with a question in hand, a true love for knowledge, he'll always withstand. In Chinese he excels, with joy in his voice, a bridge to a culture, a personal choice. And every Thursday to the lab he will go, to tinker with robots, letting ideas flow. A future engineer that's clear to see, solving problems with ease, as clever as can be. His mind, like a compass, points towards design. With CAD in his hands, his visions align. At lunchtime, you'll find him on the football field, chasing the ball, his joy unconcealed. With friends at his side, he plays with great zest. A competitive spirit, always doing his best. In maths, with Jai Sheng, a rivalry blooms. They race to complete the task that looms. But their friendship's a balance of challenge and cheer, pushing each other without any fear. A book in his hand and thoughts deep inside, reading his way through the world far and wide. Above his years in maturity and grace, he's a student who's always ahead of the race. With books wrapped in belts, all neat and aligned, his organization's flawless, his method refined. Here's Wei Yuan Wong, a student so bright, a future of brilliance, who shines in his light. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that. So this is called A Tale of Two Ways, because coincidentally both of these young gentlemen are called Wei. And this time we're going to focus on to Daniel Wei, who's a year 13 media studies student. So welcome, Daniel.
Hi, Mr. Reeves. Hi, POWIIS. Actually, I'm quite nervous.
Okay. So Daniel, he's in his second year of media studies, A-level student, and doing really well. And he's produced this video that's part of his portfolio. In fact, this is part of his portfolio. This auditorium today, you very kind audience watching him, is part of his portfolio. And we're recording this now. And after this presentation, he's going to send out a Google form critique. And I ask if you can kindly reply to that critique next Monday morning during tutor time. It's not compulsory. You don't have to feel the need to do it. But if you'd like to reply to it, it would help. It would help Daniel a lot because he needs to submit this with his work. So Daniel, good morning. Can you tell myself, the audience, why you chose media studies as an A-level?
So first, I found it very accessible, and I think I have the talent inside. And then plus, I also like to play video games and maybe watch some videos, and very interested at any updates in technology side.
And what inspired you to do this particular video? What were the restrictions? What was the task? What inspired you to make this video?
So during A2 level, 40% of the marks is from the portfolio and 60% of the marks is from the exam. And then during last year, my portfolio didn't have a very good result. It's like maybe 80%. So this year, I focus on another side, which is I look at the mark scheme first, and I focus on how do I answer the critical reflection. And then I look at what do I have, what resource do I have, and then this will come out. And I'm not gonna spell or anything, so that.
Okay, so some of the restrictions were he wasn't able to use dialogue, so there's no voice with this. So there is a backing song. Sometimes when we watch it, the text comes up from the audio from the song. I hope it's not on there. If it does, it's not relevant. It's a no-budget video, so he literally filmed this with his mobile phone. One of the problems that I've noticed with media studies is you do need lots of friends. And Daniel's a very popular guy, so he's got a lot of friends. The reason you need friends is because your actors are sourced through your good nature. So you need to have people who will be prepared to do the acting for you. And obviously, it can take quite a long time. It can easily swallow up 1 or 2 weekends. So the actors that Daniel's used are in-house. They're both girls from the sixth form as well. Okay, so when we watch this, I'd like us to watch this with a critical eye. Try and see the message behind the message. Don't forget there's no dialogue to give us a clue what the message is. So we're looking, just the same as if you're analysing a literature text, you're looking to see what the actual video clips are actually trying to say. So this film is about relationships. It can be any kind of relationship you want. It can be a brother-sister, sister-sister, friendship relationship, a love relationship. It can be any relationship you want it to be, because you're the audience, and the artist creates the work, but the audience has the prerogative to see it however they want to see it. Okay, Daniel, so let's watch the video. Thank you to Olivia, who's controlling the computer for this.
我听见远方下课钟声响起，可是我没有听见你的声音，认真呼唤我姓名。爱上你的时候还不懂感情，离别了踩着的刻骨铭心。为什么没有发现遇见了你是生命最好的事情？也许当时忙着微笑和哭泣，忙着追逐天空中的流星，人理所当然的忘记是谁风里雨里一直默默守护在原地。原来你是我最想留住的幸运，原来我们和爱情曾经靠得那么近，那为我对抗世界的决定，那陪我淋的雨，一幕幕都是你，一尘不染的真心与你相遇，好幸运，可我已失去。 幸运。青春是段跌跌撞撞的旅行，拥有之后觉得美丽，来不及感谢是你给我勇气，让我能做回我自己。也许当时忙着微笑和哭泣，忙着追逐天空中的流星，人理所当然的忘记，是谁风里雨里一直默默守护在原地。原来你是我最想留住的幸运，原来我们和爱情曾经靠得那么近，那为我对抗世界的决定，那陪我淋的雨，一幕幕都是你，一尘不染的真心。与你相遇，好幸运，可我已失去为你泪流满面的权利。但愿在我看不到的天际，你张开了双翼，遇见你的注定。他会有多幸运？
Thank you very much. So we're going to run a quick question and answer session with Daniel. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. I have a few questions myself, so don't feel compelled to ask. But if you have any, please put your hand up, including you, Olivia, if you have any questions. So the first question I'm going to ask Daniel, I'm going to actually answer myself, because Daniel asked me if I could answer this one. Because, and this is nothing detrimental to Daniel, Daniel is actually probably EAL for English. The reason I'm saying that is because he's done so well with his media studies, and he's what you would call an EAL student. And that opens up this A-level for all you EAL students out there. This is a very accessible subject that you can do if you are EAL. So the first question, I'll pose it to Daniel, and then I'll probably take over. Daniel, there was quite a few poignant parts there in that film that I found quite moving. The first one was where the girl is stood on the balcony looking out to sea, and then she looks at the photograph. Can you tell me what you were thinking when you designed that part of the sketch, please?
So if you see this scene,
I wasn't expecting this.
what would you think? So the first thing that I feel is like tragedy, sad. So that this is what I came up with when I designed the scene. Actually, I just came up with this answer. I never thought that I would answer it like this.
Yeah, and so what he was trying to capture was, he was looking at the image, sorry, the girl was looking at the image of a friend in the phone. The phone is not indefinite. It doesn't last forever. It disappears. The images disappear, and the source disappears. A photograph from the back of the phone. And then she turns the phone over, and she pulls a hard copy photograph from the back of the phone, which is more prolonged, more everlasting. And then she takes it one stage further and looks up into space, looking into infinity, where this relationship could go on into infinity. And then she brings herself back to reality, back to the time that it is now, and looks back at the phone with a kind of a gloomy appearance in her eyes. And it was very well put together. So some of the other things that you wanted to speak about, one was the exposure, Daniel. What can you tell us about the exposure?
So for the exposure, lots of people will think that, oh, what the heck is that exposure? Very dark, very light, but actually I do it on purpose. So for that, I can create a dreamy effect that makes people think that it's not real or maybe it's illusion. That is also part of the media language that you will study in media studies. And well, I'm not an expert about teaching at this, but all you need to know is that is the media language, and this is suggesting some information.
Okay, so please feel free to put your hand up, otherwise I'll keep going. And while I'm speaking, I think Mr. M wanted to come and say a few words. So if you still do, Mr. M, if you want to make your way down. Mr. M is actually in charge of the media studies. Okay, so one of the scenes that you really liked was the piano scene. Can you explain the piano scene, please?
So for the piano scene, I think that is also suggesting and also a metaphor. So when two people are playing the piano, one people is playing the main rhythm, and another player is playing the sub-rhythm, so that it's also suggesting about the power dynamic. And then like one people is the main, one people is the sub. Also, I love the reflection part. It can just reflect their face and their emotions. Because when I let them play the piano, I take the image, I put the composition on their back so that you couldn't see their emotions. So the audience will think like, wait, what are their face like? And I use the reflection, which is not against the 180 degrees rules. The 180 degrees rules is about like, when you're filming one angle and one area, such as I'm filming Mr. Reeves' face for this part, I couldn't just go straight up to this part, or the audience will think that it's not natural. So that is the 180 degrees rules. So I use the reflection to show their faces and their emotions.
But it's very natural now without my glasses, as you all have become used to seeing. So while you're talking about the artistic side, and this is not about an artistic image, however, you were pleased with the lift scene as well, the elevator scene. Can you explain that one, please, Daniel?
Oh, so the elevator scene, I'm so proud of it. That's my favorite scene, actually. So I used a composition about like a triangle composition. No, not triangle, rectangle, sorry. And I use this like the front layer, which is the outside of the elevator, and the inside layer, which is like the elevator itself. And then I use an eye guiding line so that the line is like just straight into the elevator, so that the audience attention will be on the two characters' faces. And the character, I also designed it because when you're on the elevator, so such as me and Mr. M go into one elevator, I would say that, hi, Mr. M, and then Mr. M will say that, hi, Daniel. But normally, people wouldn't do like, and then another character is like, this won't happen. Either you say hello, or just ignore others. But none of the situation will go like one people is looking at other and one people don't want to look at each other. So that also suggests something. Yeah.
So I wasn't lying when I said Daniel was excited about the elevator scene. Actually, the worst person to get in the elevator with is my wife. For some reason, she always starts singing in the elevator, and I'm thinking, but anyway, so thank you very much, Daniel. I'm going to hand over to Mr. M now. So Mr. M is in charge of the Media Studies course. And if you're interested in taking Media Studies, please speak to Mr. M or myself. And yes, as I say, very good for EAL students as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reeves. Yes, as you can see there, excellent, yeah. Daniel worked incredibly hard all through year 12 as well. His foundation portfolio project that he worked on there, I mean, arguably that took him even longer because he had to learn all the ropes, all the technical skills, and he took a lot of that responsibility on himself. He went away, he learned the software for editing, he learned about some of the tricks of the trade in terms of affecting lighting and how you can do it, because it's difficult, right? We don't have a film studio, we don't have big lighting equipment that we can use like a film studio. So he had to kind of find ways, workarounds and things like that. But that's one of the cool things about media studies is if you've got a vision, if you've got an imagination and you're resourceful, you can produce work that's actually incredibly impressive, especially now. Most of your smartphones are incredibly technically impressive when it comes to filming, and you can create things that are really, really high quality. So if you're interested in media studies, you should give it a go, absolutely. Yes, it is a subject that's accessible to EAL students. It's still quite a lot of new vocabulary, and you still have to write essays. That's part of the exam. But 50%, at least at AS level, is part of the coursework, and you get to produce works like Daniel has done here today. So one more time, big round of applause for Daniel Way, and the other way, for your poetry listening, I suppose. And I think we're about time now to go to our lessons. So thank you very much, everyone. If we could leave in an orderly fashion, if we have the year 11s, year 12s. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day, everybody.